is quite needed.
Oof.
And I don't disagree. Um, so I mean, it's just I had to talk myself into it because I've heard a couple of guys give me some just straight up horror stories that freak me out.
Sure.
But yeah, the I went and I got all reset up, saw my primary care doctor, and I was like, "Hey, Doctor Spielberg, because that's her name. Um, I need I need a vasectomy because I have 400 children and I don't want any more. I'm not going to put my wife through another pregnancy.
You're too fertile.
Yes, with our powers combined, we are Captain Planet, and
Captain Parent.
yeah, too compatible is what we are. So, um, she goes, okay, that's fine. I'll put in the consult. And this was at the beginning of December. And sometimes with the VA, you have to call them and be like, "Hey, why haven't you set my appointment? What the hell?" Right?
Sure.
And so I get a hold of the urology department today, and they go, "Your consult was canceled." And I said, "Why?" And I said, "Well, we don't know." And I said, "Well, have that guy call me back."
No doubt.
Because that's like, is there something that showed up on my chart that I need to be aware of, like some sort of weird medical issue that prevents my balls from getting lasered? uh,
Sure.
you know, like, because it's an outpatient procedure, it's relatively minor surgery technically, like,
Right.
uh, I mean, well, comparatively, let's call it minor surgery comparatively. So, like, let me know, like, do I have, is something wrong kind of thing? So I called my primary care people too and left her a message and said, let me know what this is, please. And so I get a call back from my primary care's office. And it wasn't my doctor. It was like a nurse practitioner that works with or for my primary care doctor. And he goes, um, yeah, your consult was, well, first off, I need to tell you that Dr. whatever the schmuckatello's name um, is a really fantastic doctor, does really great at vasectomies, and probably one of the best doctors you could go to for him. I was like, cool beans. Thanks for blowing this guy right away.
Right.
And he goes, but unfortunately, he canceled your consultation because, well, you see, the highest BMI he'll work with is a 30, and you're at a 35. And I said, does this doctor know that I've been an athlete for most of my life? And even though I'm not at the peak of my muscle bigness,
Yeah.
there's still a lot of muscle on my body, and that my muscle to fat ratio will make him shit his pants based off like just based off of BMI. You Oh god. So for those who don't understand what a BMI is, it's the body mass index, and it's an average that
It's
helps
simple
determine if
math,
you're
right?
it's simple math. If you're underweight, overweight, just right,
Right.
extremely obese, or whatever.
According to
And
guidelines developed in the 40s.
well, I I was just reading about it today actually, but like it's not even like a real, like it makes sense if you're looking at the world on an average, I guess, but not taking into consideration individuals. So if I was, I'm 230 right now.
Okay.
If I was still 230, bone shredded, 5% fat at 230, he'd be like, "Whoa, you're the fattest man I've ever seen." Like, that's why the BMI is not
Well, that's
accurate.
if.
Well, that's if. But see, the thing is, I'm still not overweight.
No, no, no. I don't think I wouldn't
Like that's
consider you
I'm
overweight either. But in terms of liability, simply in terms of liability, your risk increases, correct?
My risk. So with even with the BMI I'm currently measured at, my risk for even general anesthesia is not there.
According to what?
Everything. Like you have to be like extremely obese, like you're like 40s, 50s for that to even come into a factor. If he's going to go in with a local and then just buzz,
Yeah.
nothing.
Did you
BFD.
did you did you ever have any high BMIs when you were competing or in peak shape? Or does your
And
BMI read higher simply because you're a bigger person and because you're carrying weight for bulk?
so my BMI is going to rate higher now because I'm thick, but like
No, of course, but I'm just
I
saying,
am
according to the math, if you were shredded right now, what would your BMI show up as?
when I was 210 and uh, I'll have to pull up the chart. I'm not
No,
gonna
don't
pull up the
don't
chart. We're not
don't
gonna
hold
do
the
this.
chart right now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
we're guesstimating.
I can't. No, it'd probably still be in the high 20s, maybe even to the
Okay.
30 or whatever that he's trying to get me at, whatever. Because when I was 210 and still, I still all Ripley, not in stage shape, but like pretty.
No, I only
Like
ask to assume that this is not an irregular circumstance in the bodybuilding community. I'm just trying to
no,
guesstimate that they don't have an issue, but they still register higher because of their choices. That's all I'm getting at.
I think
I don't think that 35 is high. I mean, I'm sure according to the powers that be it is, but the how matters more than the what, right?
it's my thing is the guy was like, now, and I explained this to this guy. I was like, do you understand? Like, I'm not I told him I'm not in my peak athletic shape, but I carry around a lot more muscle than your average
Yeah.
5'9" person, and I'm physically active. And he goes, well, we just can't take that into consideration. And I said, why? We just don't. I said, that's bullshit, right? And he goes, I hear you. Uh, and I said, listen, I'm trying not to be mad at you. You didn't make this decision. This wasn't your call. But
Yep.
you need to relay this to somebody that they're acting ignorant.
So
And that's with all due respect to his profession, him covering his butt, whatever. But like, and I understand he's probably seen a lot of veterans with BMIs over 30 that were rotund tanks that were on the verge of a heart attack. They're like, yeah, just cut me up, but like, hey, me guy, like you can't like. The problem with that is I'm getting treated like a number rather than a patient,
yeah,
and I don't like it.
is that uncommon for military personnel? I
I mean, not
mean,
when you're active duty,
aren't you
but
can
you
don't
know,
they look at you as a number, as an asset, as a resource? So,
yeah.
I mean, I understand. I agree with you. I sympathize for your circumstance, but I can also look at it from a liability from a business standpoint because that's how they operate, right? Just as we talked about
Hmm.
the boob jobs or the nose jobs, like government, having surgery done on government bodies. Like this falls into that category, though, even though it's your purpose and your intent is pure. There's no ill will. There's no whatever. And it makes me laugh, especially with the climate of abortion. It's like you're a man who is literally trying to control population, who is literally trying to protect your wife from an unwanted pregnancy, from unwanted complications, from all of these things that, because the there is a clock there is a paternal clock, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is a window to where your efficiency is maximized. And apparently that's still now. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's literally a risk factor. And you can chalk that up to you guys not wanting to, you know, wear the proper equipment or whatever, but it alters the experience.
I'm not getting into this with you because this last
Yeah,
baby
yeah,
was
no.
properly
No,
equipped.
again, I'm not saying it. It's not from a place of judgment. It's not from a place of
Yeah.
it doesn't happen, because it most definitely still does. But it's like, even when you take the most secure of measures,
Mm-hmm.
there is now a tone, there's a climate to where that might be a factor and you wouldn't know it.
I was like, how many kids do you want me to have, man? Like,
Like like maybe he's bullshitting. Did you follow up and see that 30 is the number you need to clear by?
no,
Eh?
because the guy was like, he was like, well, you can come in and you can get hided and weighted, and we can see. And I was like, I can make that weight right now. I can make your BMI right now. He goes, what do you mean? I said, all I have to do is I won't drink water tomorrow. I'll come see you at the door.
So how much, so on a scale of 1 to
Like
10, how much of your pride is attached to this?
it's it's more of so I have been terrified of getting this procedure done forever, and I finally like was like, you just fucking suck it up and do it. And
Finally
they're
got
like,
in the
no.
zone. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So it's your
it's more
ego bundled with the fact that you don't want to do it. You just don't want to.
right,
Like, if you had
right.
your
But
options,
it's
you would
but
just simply not. But you know you're being responsible, and you're going the right course of action, and then you get to the doorstep and the lock doesn't work.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
I told Brittany because like I went outside to go lift when this guy called me, and so now I'm all
Jacked up.
pissed. But I didn't even I didn't end up not even training last night. Like I couldn't like get myself into the zone to like
Yep.
lift anymore because I was just heated in the wrong way. And so she was like, and then she goes, "I seriously want to cry right now." I was like, "Oh," because let's be real, I am 100% doing this for her. Like, I don't want doctors touching my balls in any way, shape, or form, let alone getting in there with a laser. Like, I don't want that shit.
Sure. Sure.
So, let's just be real. This is 100% for her. And so it's like
So what if we put
now she's
this? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
so now she's disappointed and
That's what I was.
upset.
That's where I was leading. That's where I was headed. Because all we have to do is put it into the perspective of the amount of checkups and follow ups and all of the prodding and poking that they have to go through during 10 plus months. So,
Mm-hmm.
on the grand scheme of things,
It's really not a lot in the grand scheme of
it
things.
is a
So like,
tiny it is a tiny sacrifice, my guy. So,
yep.
as as
No,
as
yeah.
as right as you are, as correct as you are, um, it is a small, it is a small task on our end.
No, it is a definitely a
It's almost like pregnancy
lopsidedly.
itself. It's almost like
It
pregnancy
is.
itself. Oh,
It's definitely a more than fair compromise.
let's just get it out there on the table,
Yeah,
because
let's
uh
call that what it is.
yeah, call a spade a spade.
Yep.
However, the idea that you would have any trouble doing it sounds silly. Sounds silly.
It does, unless you have balls, and then you're like, maybe,
Yeah,
and then
and you could also have balls, and then something bad happens that that 5 BMI would have prevented, and now what happens? Are you just that COVID guy who, if I get it, I get it? No.
no, because this is fucking nonsense. BMI is fucking nonsense.
Okay. Okay.
Like if
Hey
I
man.
came if I came in my if I came in my fat tits hover around fucking help me chair because I ate myself into a fucking cheeseburger coma every goddamn day and gave myself diabetes with some bullshit. They're like, oh hey, we can't give you surgery because you'll die. You're preventing me from living my life. No, that's a whole different goddamn scenario.
Of course, but let's not talk about the exception. Let's not talk about the exaggeration. Let's talk about
I am the
the
exception, baby.
you are an exception. But for the sake of
Do you know how rough it is being this pretty? Woo!
for the sake of being a statistic, because that's what you don't want to be, but they're treating you like one.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do now? How can you transfer that energy into uh, smashing that number and being done with it ASAP?
I could seriously, if I stop drinking water right now at 8:37,
Yeah.
I skip breakfast and lunch, and I roll into this office. They'll be like, "Wow, you made it! You made your BMI." And I'll be like, "Go fuck yourself,"
Oh, okay. Yes.
because that because that's how much bullshit BMI is. That is entirely how much bullshit BMI is.
Yeah. I don't know, man. So what can you do to take that energy and make it productive? Because you said you can just stop drinking water, and that's not healthy. That's just
Well, no,
that's a quick fix.
I'm
That's
just
like the
I'm just
wrestling.
talking.
That's
When
not
it
being
comes
your
to
wrestling days, though, right?
when it comes to getting this done and dealing with honestly government workers, you have to find your own efficiency in the inefficiency.
Okay.
So I mean, I'll probably go in tomorrow.
You will. Okay.
Yeah, I'll probably go in tomorrow. I'll take I'll take a bunch of magnesium tonight. Wake up at about 0:23. Take a big nasty running shit, and then
So you basically are
you
giving
know,
yourself an enema.
reverse style,
Okay. The
and
organic
then
route.
let that run its course, and
And,
then
and that will be enough to shift your BMI 5 points.
oh yeah,
Okay. Have you been able to like?
because one, it wasn't my true weight because they measured me in my boots, jeans, and two shirts
Are you gonna
on
get
top
naked? You're
of.
gonna get butt ass naked now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm saying nope. We're gonna do this shit right. I don't care who walks by. Sup?
So why were you in all the gear last time?
Because that was like, oh, we can just hop on how you are. Now I will, and I said, okay.
And they set you up, bro.
I'm here to smile and
Yeah, they set you up, bro.
just get this crap done.
Yeah.
So when I walk in tomorrow and I treat it like I'm a half a pound overweight at a wrestling tournament. We'll see if they call me back.
Yeah. Oh boy. Okay, so what happens if you do all this and then they still say sorry, it didn't work? As hot as you were today, will you be more hot?
Then I will find a way to pay. I will pay a doctor no insurance style.
No.
Here's the cash.
We're live streaming, correct? Hold on, where's my
No.
I just updated this so I have a swear button now. So I just hit that and you can't hear either of us, so I don't know if you can actually hear that on your end or not, but
yeah, I hear the bleep.
Okay. Yeah, cuz bro, please don't say that again.
No.
What?
This is getting done.
Why don't you just shift your diet and make it happen in a week? Why is that not an option?
Tomorrow.
Oh, great. Oh boy. Okay. This is not my territory, so I have no bag to dip into.
So this is let me. So I, I will prove to you that BMI is bullshit
No, no, no.
tomorrow.
I don't need you to convince me the effectiveness or the necessity of BMI. Again, as a kid who grew up an ectomorph and overweight, I was always obese. So growing up and seeing yourself
Mm-hmm.
feeling good about yourself, go stepping on a thing, and you're at the lowest you've been in a while, and it still shows up in the obese chart, and you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
huh? Like I grew up with that. So I
Oh
BMI,
yeah, I
I
was a
hear
fat
that.
kid.
Yeah. I hear BMI, and I just think a standard, not the standard that I should hold myself to. So
Mm-hmm.
just like a number when it comes to weight. Sure, there is a number where I could be at my peak performance, but do I operate peak performance? No, I don't. So I don't need to
No.
be at that weight. So that weight, that number doesn't apply to me the same way. It doesn't have the same value as if I was 15 years younger. You know what I mean? So like that's what I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting at is make sure you give it the appropriate value and that you don't make this an unnecessarily, you know, friction or combative situation because it's simply a guideline they're following and they don't care enough because their job. Imagine that call sheet. Here's a list because that's what he gets. He gets an email that says, call all these guys, call all these soldiers, call everyone on this list. Here's list A. This is all the people whose BMI is too high. Here's the cutoff line. You call these people, sell them, schedule an appointment. Cool. Roger that. Calls you. So, in terms of the statistic nature of it, it can't be personal. If it is just
Well,
a run of the
my whole
mill,
thing is my whole thing is I go out of my way to be nothing but polite
no,
and
pipeline is done.
understanding.
No,
Like
that's not business.
because
You're
I
not a
know, but like
customer,
I
bro.
understand
Hey,
that this is a government job.
you're not a customer, dog. You're an employee. Can we start there? Can we start there? Can we be real and
I
say
mean, they do
everything that you said, your entire perspective is coming from the customer is always right perspective, correct?
pay me because I'm still alive, so there's
Oof.
that.
Yeah, they pay you on a regular basis to maintain your lifestyle. So those two things considered. I'm just trying to equivocate the necessity of you to flex your chest, puff your chest out, and say, "Oh, I can beat this number." Yes, man, you definitely can. But imagine if an employee did that to you. Imagine you're a boss and your employee came in and you said, "Hey, man, you need to be able to lift 60 pounds." And you're like, "I don't lift anything 60 pounds." Ah, that's bullshit. That's a metric that doesn't make sense to me. Cool, man, but it's a necessity for our job. And then you act like this. It just sounds weird. It sounds like your it sounds like your perspective on it is from the customer view and you're not that.
My perspective on it is if you are going to, as part of a contract of an employment,
Are you digging into the terms
provide.
and arrangements?
I am
Yes.
terms and conditions, baby. If you are going to be providing medical care and medical procedures to people over a certain limit of disability, which you have set based on wear and tear and or injuries acquired from their active participation in your job, then you need to treat them like a patient, not an employee.
So now you're going to mansplain them their guidelines. That's the productivity.
What 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 guidelines? Oh, there's like the VA has been up and reformed and put back together, and it's the greatest thing to ever happen. And
Mm.
and see, my thing is, I'm getting screwed around on turning my baby maker stopping my sperm from even getting to the jizz tube. All right, like now it's like on the grand scheme of things, it's not a big deal. But so let's say I developed some funky ass cancer from the burn pits I was around.
Yep.
In my head now, forever is, man, they wouldn't even give me a vasectomy. How are they going to cut this tumor out?
So what do you do?
What's
your recourse if that's the case?
Private insurance, baby. GoFundMe.
Socialism.
I did. It's public funding, not government.
Okay, that's still socialism. The act of
socialism is a form of government.
Okay, but it's a socialist act. It is an act that is done.
Right, but it's from the public, not the government. That's the difference.
Oh, okay. But who pays?
So,
who pays for the money that the government distributes? We do. So it's the same thing.
Okay.
So whether we give it, so whether we so like the customer. So whether we give it to a charity out of the goodness of our heart, or it comes out of our taxes as an acronym we don't know, the government doesn't care. Neither does the recipient of the goodwill. So it's the same thing. So whether we attach it to it because of the label, whether the label scares you or you don't like the label because of the direct association, bro, the word illiterate doesn't mean the same thing. They had to change the dictionary because of the way we use it. It literally doesn't mean illiterate. Like you can change things. Just so let's remove the word. So if the word is what bothers you, socialism, tell me what it's called. If you have an issue with a word, have a replacement.
No, it's public charity.
Public charity is not public charity.
No. So if people are giving you money,
not a 501. Is not a 5031c. Is that the right number? 5013c? 5031?
501. 501c.
Yeah.
Right, because it's a corporation. But I'm saying, if I'm just giving you money, let's take GoFundMe out of it. If I'm just giving you money, that's me out of the kindness of my heart giving you money. GoFundMe just provides that platform to make that happen, and they take their cut.
Right.
But
without it, you wouldn't be able to reach those people.
I'm sorry?
But without the thing, the entity, whether it is a government or a simple curator, the idea is the same. It is a pooling of funds in order to distribute evenly, or for the benefit of people that are disadvantaged.
Okay, well, I understand where you're coming from.
No, I'm not trying to.
I do understand.
I'm not trying to change your mind.
And I'm not trying to argue. I'm not trying. You're not going to, and I'm not going to change yours.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that because I don't think the government should be involved in handing out funds. Period.
Yeah, that's the problem. You have a problem with the disbursement of funds from the government. That doesn't mean that an act that is done in the same light as what the government does, that doesn't mean you can't use that term. That's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
So whether you pool that money or you privatize it, the idea is the same. So what private insurance are you talking about that would allow you to do it outside of a government BMI standard? Mexico?
I get on that State Farm. I get on that State Farm policy real quick.
No. How does State Farm not follow what the government does? Is it different?
No, I get on my wife's insurance policy that she has to work.
So you don't think a doctor that works through State Farm insurance has the same stipulation as what the government worker does?
I definitely believe that, yeah.
Based off of what? I want to believe you.
Based off of private. It's just private healthcare, even though it is more expensive, is generally more efficient.
No, but it's a health concern, bro. It's not about whether you qualify financially or status wise.
If I can go to Banner Ironwood right now and talk to a urologist, and I could probably get that done right now.
You said probably.
I could probably get it done tonight.
You said probably. The doctor called you and told you you cannot do this because of a guideline.
The doctor did not call me. A third-hand person did
of course
call me. It wasn't even my primary care physician. It wasn't even...
Because a private insurance doctor wouldn't call you either.
No, I understand that. So, but I'm telling you...
But the way you're reacting is like you're being treated unfairly.
I could bet you both my arms that I could go to the Banner Iron Wood and get this done.
That's not going to benefit me, dog. That bet doesn't help. What?
I don't know, man. These arms are pretty sweet. They're all floppy.
I'm just saying. Like, again, we're being real. Like, what doctor is going to say? So let's talk Kanye. Kanye's mom was told she was at risk because of a pre-existing condition. So what did they do? They went and got a second opinion and saw these insurance providers that you're talking about, and she died. She died from a procedure she did not need. It was cosmetic in nature. It wasn't even with purposeful like yours is. So you're joking about going and seeing a doctor because you disagree with how they see it, and I'm simply trying to reel it back in and let's talk about real life. Like, you could fuck up your family doing something like this. If you're not here, bro, they struggle, right? If you're down for an extended amount of time because you went third party, I don't want to say it like that, but that's what I mean. Like, you know what I'm saying? So we're talking about. I get what you're saying completely. Just trying to remove the emotion out of it. Because it sounds like Karen right now.
Okay. Hey.
Karens don't back down either, bro. Like, I'm just saying, that's what it sounds like. It's no bueno. So I'm just saying, what can we do? Let's adult. How can we approach this from an adult perspective to where we're thinking about your family instead of your ego and a third party doctor saying differently? Because if it's just 5 BMI, it shouldn't be a big fix.
The thing is, I'm thinking about my family. This whole thing is about my family.
Big picture, macro it is. But micro, you have options on how you pursue it for that macro. And you doing it one way and not the other is not going to give you that same result. There's more risk involved. There's unnecessary friction that happens through this process than if you just take it on the chin and you eat healthy and you do what you need to for 2 weeks, a month, whatever that takes, and you go in and get the same thing done. How is that different?
Well, my thing is, I am eating healthy. I am exercising. I am. This is all things that I am doing.
But it's not good enough. They said what you're doing now, this isn't me. This isn't me talking. I'm simply stating the facts. And the facts are what you're doing isn't good enough. Right?
And they are wrong.
So in terms of sobriety, if a professional tells you that, and you as someone who is struggling with sobriety says they're wrong, are they wrong? Or are you just in denial?
They are wrong. They are wrong.
Why? Because there are different paths that you can take. It's not a one-all fix, right? So you're fixated right now. So you're fixated on one way, which is pride-driven, and there are alternate ways to go that will get you to the same result without any friction. It's just doing something. It's just buckling down, and you've got a tough situation.
But there is friction but there is friction now within my household because of nonsense.
That friction is going to occur whether you approach it way 1 or way 2, right? Or way 3 or 4.
I'm sorry?
Even ways we're not discussing right now. If you pursue them, they're going to lead to the same result. So the friction you feel in your family is because you don't want to have kids anymore. You don't want to add to your family. That's the friction, right?
Yeah, and
so that happens. So that is a fact. Whether you starve yourself to pass a test quicker, or you go the right route, because or put it in the realm of fitness. Sober Swirl. If someone told you that you needed to do this for a show, if you told a client they needed to do this for a show, they disagreed with you and then shortcutted it, didn't get the result they wanted, how do you feel as a coach?
They look like ass, and that's their fault.
All right. I just want to make sure that we get to the same point, because that's how the guy you talk
No,
to is going to feel. Because do
and
you think that he doesn't have your best interest in mind at all?
I think that he didn't. No, I no. I'm going to disagree with you very much wholeheartedly on this, probably forever. And if I'm Karening, I'm Karening, and I'll Karen until I die, because
Okay.
like it's just is what it is. This is
What's the value in that though? Like,
the value.
so what?
I'm just gonna get it done. I'm just gonna go get it done.
Okay, man.
And then I mean, and I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I think this got a little too tense than it needed to.
No, I don't. Well, I mean, I feel like we're talking like adults, like children.
Oh no, I think we're definitely talking like adults. I wasn't trying to say that we weren't. I'm just saying that
No. It's constructive. We just had no intention of getting here. None whatsoever. So let's go ahead. Let's just say that
there was some tug of war that was probably a little unnecessary.
no, there was no. This was not in the pregame whatsoever. I'm just.
No.
You brought all of this stuff up, and I'm just reacting in real time. So, and you can watch this back, and you will probably have the same reaction. But again, the ego that drives a lot of people into making poor decisions is free will. It's not about your best interest. So the same way we saw people struggle with COVID, the same way people struggle with different addictions and sobriety, as we talk about it, right? A lot of a high percentage of that failure rate is because, so what? Is because I choose me. I choose, and it's convenience. It's convenience for you in terms of time. And so what we're talking about here is just you saving time. What are you going to do with the time you save by quickly getting your results back? What are you going to do with that extra time?
Stop the toddlers from harassing my wife for a little bit.
Okay.
I think.
Can you quantify that? How much is that? How much time do you save by doing this now, getting it done now? Because, bro, I only hope that it goes well for you. I don't want that to be lost in any of this. I hope you show up tomorrow, you put your foot down, and you say, and everything happens the way that you're talking about right now. I hope that's the case. I just want supporting evidence. I want something to be able to reach to and say, that's why he'll be right. Because without that, it's just ego. And so we do this on a weekly basis. So it's not going to take long for us to have to be here again. And we're definitely going to talk about that again. So we're going to talk about it again regardless. Hopefully it's very quick and I was right. And I'll say, you were right. Put myself in my place and continue. But and even if you're wrong, it's still, I'm not going to celebrate. I'm not going to, yeah, your vasectomy is on delay. I don't get anything out of this. So again, I'm not saying any of this because I gain from it. I'm someone who's not in that boat yet. And so okay. I don't want your visceral reaction to affect the process that's going to happen. It's going to run its course anyway, whether you expedite that yourself or not. Because at what point do they not want to work with you? At what point are they just put that guy on the back burner and play with him on the phone for a while?
Well, it's just going to be one of those things where I'm going to have to get in line. I'm going to have to go and get it done. And I'm going to have to get in the line. And that could take anywhere from, 1 month to a year for them to even see me. Yeah. So the big hiccup about this is because I am now in the back of the line, I have to resubmit my stuff, get back in the back of the line again, and get back in the line again. And
so
then,
you don't have anything that can ensure a quick turnaround?
No.
Because what's guaranteeing you being seen tomorrow if that's the case? Just because you're making noise, they'll see you?
No, the dude said, you can come in anytime we're open in office hours and get your height read done. So I just show up at the clinic and say, hi, I'm I need to
Okay.
get I'm with Dr. Spielberg. I need to get my
So
height weird done.
so now for every other veteran who has a scheduled appointment tomorrow, sorry
It
about
doesn't
this.
affect their schedule.
So you don't hinder the process at all. They're just talking to you. You see somebody on the side.
Yeah, I'd walk in and I'd say, whoever has a free moment in between appointments, I just need to
So it's like
get
call
my height.
waiting. It's like standby flights.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Well, so like when I have to go and get my blood work done, I can just show up and be like, I'm here to get my blood work done for my appointment whenever. They
that
go, okay, thanks.
that I missed months ago.
No, I don't. No, I don't miss appointments.
That's what I'm
But
saying.
like, I can show up. I can. So if let's say I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow.
Yeah.
This morning I would have gone in and got my labs done, and I didn't need an appointment for that. I could have just done it.
Okay.
So it's
So where is the
same thing.
1 month to 1 year wait time? Like, why does that come into play at all?
Because it's the doctor's availability, how many other veterans are ahead of you in line. You know, if the doctor decides to take a vacation in the middle of seeing patients, like
Okay. Because there's only one doctor that sees the people, or
this dude made it very clear that there was one doctor, and he's really good at it.
no. Oh yeah. You spoke on his proficiency, but not his availability.
Right.
We are post holidays, so more than likely he's in the office or they're in the office. But like, I'm just trying to understand the difference between you just cutting in line. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you cutting in line like a Karen would, and raising a scene
No,
to be seen instead of going about the normal process.
no, because the gentleman told me today, show up at any office hours anytime, and we'll get your height and weight done.
Very good.
I'm not just showing up and I'm not just showing up and demanding.
But it's also a very
I am.
a very quick thing.
Yeah.
You're not getting a scope. You're not like there's no.
No.
I'm sorry.
No. The gentleman I talked to today said, just anytime you come, just come by the office anytime we're open, we'll get it done. So, okay.
So you think he said that with confidence because he was assuming you were going to do it and fail?
No.
No.
Because he was like, he was like, well, you're really not that far off. You could probably come in and get this done. And I said, you're damn right.
What does that mean? You can come in and get this done? Just a new test ran?
Because yeah, he was
Okay.
like, yeah, you're probably not even that. It was probably just a bad measurement or something. And I was like, this speaks to the
A bad measurement?
high quality efficiency.
What's the
Yeah.
effectiveness of a BMI test?
The effectiveness is no vasectomies, I guess.
That you would get a bad reading? No. Yeah. I get all that. I'm just
Yeah.
saying I didn't know that there was a high fail rate of BMI tests. Like I didn't know that it would be off so much that you would need to go get another one.
Well, he's like, you're so close. You're so close to this, and you got this done last month. I mean, I'm sure you're probably there by now.
Okay. So you got done last month. What were your numbers comparatively? Do you know?
I have no clue. I don't.
Could you get that information? It's yours, right?
Yeah.
That would give you that would be a good tell. Because you've been working hard the last month, right?
Yeah.
So your numbers should have dropped.
Oh, they have.
Yeah. So I'm simply saying there's qualitative evidence in that. You would be able to tell the difference based off of your output, what that BMI change was over a month. And if it's significant, like it probably is, that 5 BMI might just be a good hike up Camelback. You know what I mean? Like, and
Right.
so the idea that you're just going to magnesium up your body and tap into
Greasy poop it out, baby.
and tap into your wrestling days. Like, I'm just trying to be, I'm trying to be convincing that I'm not I don't doubt that you'll be able to do it. I just like to have supporting evidence. I just like to know there's a reason to it. There's a method to the madness, if you
Okay.
will. Because I would hate to come on the show next week and you'd be like, oh, and it's fast as this part 4. This was more disgruntled than the Festivus episode was. And for not because of BMI. Ooh.
Yeah.
BMI. Body mass index, correct?
Yes.
Why do you have to be so swole?
Huh?
Why do you have to be so swole?
I'm sorry. What? Years of exercise.
If you just weren't so girthy.
Yeah. This is a thick young man.
Okay. So compare this to the discovery you spoke on this morning. See, I only said 5 words and your mood completely changed. So let's shift gears here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you take the wheel, Jeez. Jesus, because
okay.
This is all you. But let me just be very clear. As opposed to the VA story, I'm in this boat with you one way or another. I've just got more time in front of me, so let's get to it.
Okay, so we'll start this off with my oldest stepdaughter got in trouble for not maintaining her school uniforms.
Okay,
that's the easiest way to put that. And so we get a call yesterday evening about her not having any school uniforms over at her dad's house, and so Brittany's immediate response was, "Where are the uniforms that you have specifically for your dad's house?" "Well, I don't know. I can't find them. I don't know where they are." "You bring me one?" "No." So we've been in constant contact with their father and, what's going on kind of thing. And Scarlett swears up and down there's no uniforms at his house, which is a statistical improbability. It's like it's
impossible.
What she did with those uniforms at his house, no one knows. And so Brittany goes up and obviously checks her stuff, and she hasn't been doing laundry. That's also the case over at his house. She hasn't. There's trash. There's trash in her room, in both houses. Crap everywhere. And the trash thing really gets me because I've always said don't eat in your rooms because that's how you get bugs and ants everywhere.
Right.
But once again, no one listens to old Jake, right? And that Jake, he's just crazy. But so I told Brittany, because she's acting spoiled. She doesn't appreciate how good she really does have it at both houses, honestly, because both of her parents have worked to a point to where the kids don't ever want anything, because if they want it, they can have it. And, not to the point where they're turds and expect cars and things, but like,
right.
Hey, can we stop here and get a drink or whatever? Sure. So I told her, I was like, take all of her decorations, all of her knickknacks, all of her makeup, take it. We're taking everything out of her room.
Okay.
Because, like if she wants to act and disrespect the things that she has and the things that she borrows from you, especially her mom, because, she wants to disrespect how good she has it here.
Right.
Then she's going to have to earn some of her privileges back. So, Brittany said, "Do you want to help me pack this up?" And I said, "Absolutely not." Because, if you need me to take it out and throw the trash away, I'll do that.
Yep.
Just, set it out and tell me this is the trash. I'll go throw it away. But, I'm not going to help you with the laundry and things like that, because that's lady things. Let the ladies do the lady things.
Okay.
And I'm hearing her every so often from our bedroom because I'm watching Bubble Guppies with the toddlers
Yes.
and the baby. And I'm hearing, oh my God. Oh my God. And so, what'd you find? What's going on? And I go over and she has a mini beer pong set that has some form of liquid in it. And we it didn't smell like alcohol, so
Hey,
whatever. But still,
halfway home.
still
Yep.
halfway there. She had yeah, we were just and she's going through her stuff, and then I walk in and I said, "Well, what did you find? Did you like her? Her last?" She goes, "You don't want to know." And I said, um, what do you mean?" She goes, "Well, it takes these batteries." And I went, "No."
So what level no of this is this? Is this like the movie shot where it's above and you're screaming, arms out, fist extended? No. Is this
It was more of a like because I don't think as a father you ever really want to think about your kids masturbating.
okay?
you know, and
Uh
so
agreed. Yes.
I've that's what I've been dealing with. It's not like I don't want her to feel shame about that, but I also don't want to know about it. But now I know about it.
So both of these events happened today.
Yes.
Okay. So the wound is fresh.
Yeah.
Uh
Yes.
for a
So
barometer.
because we are both men and we are both, it's definitely harder to deal with having a daughter. And because we are both men and we are both fathers of daughters, I put the feelers out there for um, maybe some other ladies can give me perspective on it.
Oh, sure. Now,
Um,
so you text this to me 2 hours
yes,
ago. Has it been that
yeah,
long? So I was sitting on the couch with my wife. So I chuckle, and she just glances at me. I said, "Read this." So she read the text, and she just goes, and her eyes got big, and she's like, "Oof." So the idea that my wife had that reaction as well, it just brought up an interesting conversation and a dynamic that one, I have the privilege of only having a 7-year old as my oldest, so I'm a ways away from that. But yeah, so the fact that that's going on now is not something I'm prepared for. Uh, I thought, I feel like the way you sent it to me meant thought you had more time,
yes,
which made us bring up the question, what is that? What age is that? What does that mean? When is a good
and
time? It's a never a good time to talk about all of these things. So let's be adults, and let's talk about the uncomfortable, the friction. What age to you, from your male perspective, was okay, and when did you start? Because it's like drinking, right?
well, see,
We're talking about the
I'm
beer
like
bottle or the beer pong things. She's very
I
underage.
distinct. Yes, I distinctly remember being quite proficient at masturbating at 14.
14. Okay.
Yeah, and then I was talking to Brittany about it, and she said I had no idea about any of that stuff until I found a boyfriend at 15 that taught me. Okay, I've talked to a couple people because I've made it clear that I will not share names. but I've talked to a couple people. One said that she started at like 3 or 4 as a coping mechanism for like where she was living and how she was living, kind of thing. Like how she grew up in the household she was in.
Mm-hmm.
Another, and then another lady said 7, same kind of scenario. But the implement of devices wasn't until late teens, early 20s
Mm-hmm.
is the most common answer because, yeah, most. I mean, everyone's curious about their own bodies at whatever different age, but I
Yeah.
think my more thing was like, okay, now how did she get this?
Well, sure. I
You
mean,
know,
in terms of puberty, in terms of understanding growing into your body and understanding it and what that means, it's gonna happen. Like, it's a nature situation, so it's like,
mm-hmm.
and the way Flex is talking in the comments, it's awkward. Awkward is a great word to describe all of this because,
Yep,
you want to understand without being creepy, without, without micromanaging, and the idea that there is a minor and major leagues for women, and it's just the pros for men, like
yeah,
devices and anything additional is like an accessory because as long as you got a palm, you can go to town.
we're good.
So yeah, so I mean, as a guy, it feels early. Like Flex said, he thinks he was 12. 12 sounds like a good
Yeah,
number to me in terms of my experience. I just remember my showers got real long,
yep,
and I remember my mom being unhappy with that, and that didn't make me stop. That just made me have to be more efficient with it. Like,
yeah, yeah.
so thinking
Efficiency is key.
thinking about our experience and then your daughter and the way her family situation, my family situation wasn't like that. So I can't even attribute that to the need, the comfort, all of those things, the reasons why she might feel the need to indulge. But I don't know. My wife and I we were tongue tied. There was no number that felt satisfactory.
Right. And
But your number is significantly larger than hers. So you should be able to take this blow and
it's true.
lead her
It's,
accordingly
it's
to your wife.
well, this is heavily going to have to be a Brittany conversation
Sure.
because this is a female experience that I really don't have the knowledge or really any business speaking on. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, so I wouldn't say I'm like disappointed or anything on that for that. Like
Hmm.
her in her room being a fucking mess. I'm more upset about that,
Oh,
honestly.
sure.
But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
then, but it's
The shock factor.
the and then you're immediately like, she was just like a baby not that long ago. And I
Oh,
didn't know was a baby, but I knew her as like a little kid, and
yeah.
I'm like, no one wants to think about their kids masturbating, man. Like, no, like
So
it's weird.
so is there innocence attached to that? Their own personal pleasure is attached to your perceived innocence of them
It's more of like, I think it's more of, I hope my kids stay as innocent for as long as
as long as
possible
possible.
because
Understood.
not not because I'm like hoping they remain naive to the planet, but like,
They're just sweet.
yeah,
They're just nice people. The
yeah.
world hasn't
Well,
hardened them yet.
it has, yeah, and there's just and there's plenty of time for the world to make you hard
And
because
it's
it's
not and
gonna.
it's not gonna not. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's plenty of time for that. Like it's just
So your concern is it's coming Oh goddamn. Let me. I can't take that back either. That
Nope.
it is inevitable. Oh, poor choice of words. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That there's
It's
no avoiding it, and to avoid it is naive. So
mhm.
how could we proactively approach it without, as Flex put it, without sneaking or her tapping into it now being a point of rebellion, a something that she conflates with getting back at you or your mom. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I don't even I don't even know if it's that. I think it's just but I think it's more of she's been so dead set on being her own person and an adult that knows more than everybody since I've known her.
So she's growing up too fast.
Yes, and has been since I've known her.
All right. So this is nothing new then.
Right, but it's still like
The specificity, absolutely. Yes. That is, I don't know how there's not shock value to that. Apart from it just being a surprise. Marky Mark and the
yeah.
fun surprise. Like like it's crazy. It's crazy that Flex mentioned shame attached to it. And you said, that you mentioned that she's always talking to someone, but yet she says she has no friends
Right.
or
That's
less
another
friends than
thing.
she would
Like she's
like. Yeah, yeah. So
yeah.
maybe I don't know. Maybe there is some merit to the shame of that. Maybe, because whether it's an outlet or a way to her to feel safe with herself. Like I don't, whatever that is, whatever the reasoning
Yeah.
is, I think that you wanting to understand that is more important than the surprise of you finding it, especially on the tail end of her getting in trouble. Because there's no need to attach
Hmm.
that, because that in itself is
It's a
very
whole nother
is
conversation.
authoritative. Yeah, you guys are
Yep.
definitely flexing your muscle there, but
Let's but my whole thing is like after I got over my, I closed my mouth and was like, okay, put this in the human perspective. I was like, I cannot shame her.
yeah,
That would do nothing, and that leads to it has the potential to lead to like some deviant shit
yep,
or in the complete other direction kind of thing.
yep.
So it's like I I want her to be in love with herself to the point where she can love herself.
To,
Those are words that I'm trying to put together.
to where she can
Um,
love, she has the ability to love someone else, to want to make
yeah.
someone else feel that, to experience that, to be the person responsible for someone else experiencing that, right? Because
Mhm.
that's what I attribute it to. I attribute it to,
So
if you can't express yourself with you, how can you do that with someone else?
exactly.
So I don't feel
I
there's
actually,
no
I
shame
actually,
attached to that.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying I see the opposite of shame,
Hmm.
especially at that young age, still figuring stuff out.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be like, "Way to go, kid."
Oh man, just give her a pat on the back when she gets home. Oof.
Here, here. Oh, congratulations! Here's your first pack of smokes and
Okay, okay. So let's pause
the
that.
underway.
Let's pause that. So since there is no shame, since there's no shaming, how do you do that with your son? You find playboys. You find an accessory. Aside from the shock value, how do you approach that? And how is that the same or different? Because you're going to have
I don't
to.
know yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but like I don't know. I don't know yet.
it's
I wish I had that answer,
approaching.
but I don't.
Yeah.
You know,
So what's your mind say? What
because
does your gut tell you? We don't have to know in order to pursue this. There's no fun in that.
my thing is, I really don't want to be that dad that is entirely too different with his reactions
Okay.
to my boys and my girls. I know that there's going to be some things that they are going to be,
Sure.
um, but like I don't want to. I can't assume. I don't know. I don't
So
know. Like, well, see, what did old Flex Chef say? Matt, did you say anything about you and your son? Did you have that talk?
I can't make this any smaller. When I was young and most definitely a virgin, my mom found a condom in my stuff. Instead of using it as an opportunity to educate me, she was upset and I lost that opportunity. That good old. I don't know what that emoji is. I can't
I think
tell.
it's a black flag.
Okay, okay, got you. Yeah, I don't ever really have I don't remember having like the sex ed talk with my parents. Um, the one thing that I do remember that is frozen in my memory correlates to all of this. Like I said, my showers just got extended, and then
Mm-hmm.
even when it came to girls who I did like, I didn't want to disrespect my parents' house, so I didn't bring them home. So I either
Well, it's
had fun somewhere else or just kept it super low key. But like it got to the point where I was in high school to where I'm just making a sandwich in the kitchen and my mom rolls over to me. Again, this is a different time, late 90s. Yes, in the 1900s. Um, and she asked me just straight up, she was like, because my younger cousin was showing signs of having other interests. And so my mom is talking to her sister, my aunt. And so then they're going back and forth. And so she just pops in while I'm making a sandwich and goes, so you don't bring many girls home. I don't, and so I don't want to be judgmental. And she treated very lightly, but basically she asked me if I was gay. And I'm like, and it made me laugh. And I'm young, but the same thing was just like the, the idea that I gave her the impression that I didn't like women for some reason, or wasn't interested in them simply because she didn't see them. And I later found out that the actual trepidation came from my father, that my dad didn't he didn't know, and that he had thoughts and he shared it with her. And so then she said, I'm going to ask him. To which I then spoke with my father later on in life, and he goes, yeah, no, we weren't going to have that conversation. And it was, he didn't really have much of a father figure. So what barometer does he have to even have that conversation with me? And I just laid it out. I was like, Mom, I don't want to fuck girls at your house. And
yep.
I had to return serve with that level of bluntness to react or to balance the way that she hit me with that. Right. And so I was just setting the tone that don't question who I am because you're uninformed or misinformed. It was simply out of
Mm-hmm.
courtesy. It was literally me being courteous. And she was just like, after the fact, she's like, okay, well, okay, no, you're good, you're good, you're good. So she felt, you know, remorseful. She felt some kind of shame that she even had to have that or feel that way. But, I never made her feel bad about it. I was just like, if you have a question, let's, just talk about it. Like, you don't have to ambush
Yeah.
me with it. But this is along those same lines, like to the point you don't want to make it awkward or uncomfortable to the point to where they don't feel they can't be transparent with you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I never
Well,
talked to my mom about girls again after that point.
I remember I was in like seventh grade, and I told my mom, I said, I don't need to have this sex talk.
You told her that.
Yeah, and
Okay.
she goes, well, what do you mean? And I said, I figured it out. And she goes, and she, and she goes, What do you mean? I said, well, we've been studying a lot about pistils and stamens and learning about pollination. And I was thinking about it. And I was thinking about how you and, how all the boys in the house, I still saying wieners. And I was, we still, we all have wieners and then you don't. And so obviously dad has to do something to you to pollinate you, which makes the baby. So I think
Whew.
that you two, and she goes, yep. And I said, okay. And then, like,
Insane.
nailed it. Smart with math, like science. Got it. Thanks, biology. And,
Oh man.
but yeah, so like my dad and I never had talks,
Mm.
My dad has called me a whore a couple times.
Hey.
Uh,
Wow. Right to your face over the phone.
yeah, yeah.
And did he say it in a tone that was appreciative? That was
No,
patting your back
no, no,
ish,
no, no,
or shame?
never,
Shame.
never,
Oh, okay.
never,
Shame.
never. I remember asking him advice about a situation that I was in,
Oof.
about a mess up that had occurred that I did, and it was causing a big strain in my relationship. And he goes, "Well, that's just because you're a whore." And I was like, that's right. That's why I don't ask you advice.
So
Now,
yeah.
don't get me wrong. I love my dad.
There's
That's
levels.
who he is.
There's
That's
levels.
just
Yeah.
that's who he is. And like, he wasn't trying to like hurt me. He was like, "Oh, my brain says
Yeah.
here's the answer," and I was like, "Okay, that's right. That's why we don't talk about serious stuff. We got it.
Yeah.
Got it." So I mean, um, but my parents were openly gross. Let's put it that way.
Please clarify.
Well, like they would make, like they were openly in love with each other,
So PDA.
and PDA, and then it was funny because they'd like kiss or something in front of us, and we'd all ew, and then mom would always be, well, don't you like knowing that your parents love each other? And we'd be like, no, and then it got to the point where it was like, oh, now we can mess with them, and so my parents had no problem talking about. My mom especially had no problem talking about sex with her husband when we were around.
Okay.
And it was like the first time Brittany met my parents. Mom made an offhand comment about save some of that cupcake frosting for later, and then
Okay.
and then Brittany goes, "Are you serious?" And I said, "That was my life."
She said that to your mom, or she said that to you after?
No, no. She said it to me after. Like
That changes, man.
not in
That
front.
changes things in the moment.
Yeah,
Oh, that
yeah.
would be
Because
hilarious.
because Brittany's not trying to be rude.
Of course. No.
she goes, and she goes, and she'll still bring that up. She says, yeah, and your mom and her cupcake
See?
frosting, and I'll go, no, I don't. No, you don't get to have
Mhm.
that.
See
That
how
was
see
my
how
whole
yeah. See how consideration
that
backfires?
was my house. That was my house. That was my house.
Oof. So it's funny to hear you say that because my girls see us kiss and they love it. They love it.
Yeah.
Aw, aw, and they, so they, and they do like they practice, they kiss each other and stuff when they're trying to be cute, so that they're, they're affectionate. So like,
They're being nice.
yeah, and so it's there's no correlation to grossness, especially the way that you're talking about, the way that your parents did. Oh man, um, this all ties in. Where are we at?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one sec. Let's go. So I have a story where my brother and I, we used to play hide and seek under our parents' bed, and so
Some of us are crass, but you have to do it at time and
Yeah.
place.
And so
Sorry.
my parents, we never, yeah, we never had conversations. They definitely didn't like rub it in our face. Is that how you felt? Did you feel like they were rubbing it in your face? You said it was like a
I think they were doing it. Well, see, like I
pettiness.
think it was more of no, it was more of I know we can get their goat, so we're gonna let's see
Hold on.
how
What does that
far
mean?
we can
What does that mean? Get their goat.
like yank your chain.
Okay, very good. Thank you. You broke it down
Yeah.
perfectly. Okay. So they were doing it to be an annoyance.
Yes,
Okay.
but also they were probably definitely doing everything they said because
Yeah, no, good for them. Good for them and their healthy and their healthy appetite. My parents, they they didn't flaunt it. They were affectionate, PDA, but like it was never. I don't remember it being like playful, to where you would think it was gross. It was just like kiss, hug,
mhm.
da da da, whatever. But we heard them for sure. We for sure heard them. And one night, the night that's cemented in my memory, my brother and I were playing hide and seek, and we could fit underneath their water bed. So like they had
Oh
a big
no!
wooden frame. They had this giant wooden frame, and we could go in through the back, like so the way that it's so it's a box, right? You could go around and through to the other side and out, or you could come straight through the middle. And there was a board at the end that you could take out or you could leave in. And they left it in. So my brother was in, we were playing hide and seek. My brother's doing like this, goes through the middle, sees that the wood's there, the door opens. I run into our bedroom. My brother's under their bed in the middle. They come home hot and heavy. And so my brother is down there, front row seats. And I'm down there and I'm at the door. I'm at the door entrance. Like, come on, come on. Let's get out of here. You sitting there like, I can't move. I can't go. I was like, they're for, I'm like, they for sure wouldn't have hurt him, but he was stuck under there. And so I would say probably 15, 20 minutes. And yeah, man. My dad came out later and he was like, "Where's your brother?" And I go, "We're playing hide and seek." I said, "We're playing hide and seek. He's doing a real good job. I'm still looking for him." And he's post coitus, so he didn't care. He's like, "All right," goes gets in the shower, and then my mom comes out. "You want something to eat?" "Yes." And my brother comes out and he looks traumatized. So yeah, that is a memory that is ingrained in my brain. But yeah, that's one of the things that parent. So like with me and my wife, like there is a level of quietness that is trying to be achieved.
Mhm.
How old were we? Old enough to know better, to know what was going on. We were 7, 8 probably. I was 7. He was 3 years older than me, so 10. So, but yeah, they were never showy about it. They never did it spitefully or playfully, because you
Mhm.
guys reacted to it. They kept it behind closed doors and they were not quiet about it. He got front row seats. He got front row seats to how he came to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was no figuring
No,
it
I
out.
never.
There was no, oh, I figured it out, Mom. You don't need to talk about it. It was, we saw it. We saw the how. Yeah.
Yeah, I never saw it, but I definitely heard. And I remember being little, and so our house was pretty small before they put the addition on in the back.
Hmm.
And I remember going into the bathroom when I was like a top, like 4, 3, 4, and mom and dad were in the bathtub together. And I was like, "What you got? What you guys? You getting clean? You getting clean in here?
We're wrestling.
You know, well, get out, okay." But oh yeah. But anyway,
So,
I was
do you have
I made
any?
a comment.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I One of the bigger aspects of me focusing on myself on the projects I need to get done this year
Mhm.
is so I could be better for me, so I could be better for my family. Because one of my biggest fears is being the cause of psychological problems down the road.
Okay. Good parenting.
And um, so back to the subject at hand, I don't, I I don't even think I want to talk to her about it unless she brings it up. How's
Is that for
because
you?
like I was saying, like I think
I hear you.
I,
Is that
like
for you or for
like
her?
I think it's for her because one,
Wait.
I'm her stepdad,
Okay.
right? And I think she would have to be comfortable enough to have that conversation first off.
And
I
it,
think it. I don't think it'd be my place to walk in and be like, "Hey, the fuck," you know.
okay. Well, let's
You
talk
know,
about the. Well, we can talk about that too, because that seems inappropriate, no matter who you're talking to.
right, right.
But I mean, so comparatively speaking, who would she rather talk to about? If you had to guess, you or her actual father?
Oh, probably me.
Okay, so then your
Yeah.
hesitation to not do it at all is unwarranted because otherwise he's the one who has to do it. And would you rather he do it?
Well, it's more of I think for both of us to be as comfortable as possible in the most awkward conversation that we probably have in a while. Yeah, if it comes up, she'd have to bring it up.
Yeah. But so are you guys just not going to talk about the vibrator?
I think that
Because that's what you're saying, right?
so that's something that I'm gonna have to discuss with her mother
Very good. Smart man.
because um, because this is at the end of the day it's lady stuff, right? I think that Brittany and need to have a in-depth conversation. Yeah, my dad only said, "Don't let anyone touch you but your future husband."
Oh, that's not good. Yeah.
No, and but it's I think that her and Brittany need to have a conversation, and of course I'm gonna have like, where did you get this? How did you get this at 13? You know, and then I just have to figure out how to do it in a way that doesn't give her a complex about life in the future.
So, yes, understood. Um, I'm playing off of the shock value that you gave to me this evening. So this is the more visceral reaction. We're talking about it on a live stream, so
Yeah,
it's in the public domain already. So
yeah.
aside from her already having access to it, whether you want her to or not, would you rather her find you talking about it and not with her? Because that's a probability now.
No,
Okay, so
right.
you advertise this on your space. It might get back to her one way or another, especially if she is in possession of beer pong accessories and a vibrator. So let's just be realistic.
Yeah,
Having that conversation, if you were to have it expeditiously, so sooner than later, could you just frame it in a way that's only asking about the possession of it and not the use of it?
yeah. I could do that.
Because how old do you
Yeah,
have to be
that's.
do you have to be 18 to buy a vibrator?
I have never bought one. Forest mommy, is there a age restriction on purchasing self pleasure toys?
Yeah. So, I mean, my assumption is since you have to go to an adult store to buy one, they are. But that doesn't mean that she can't use it in a controlled circumstance that,
Or like Amazon.com or
yeah,
something.
I grew up, again, we're talking about in the 1900s. Have you ever seen the movie Kids?
No.
The movie Kids follows a group of rambunctious teenagers in New York City who have unprotected sex. And it centers around one of them getting AIDS or catching HIV, and then the conflict that ensues after that. But it's all around, sex. And so being someone who didn't have that open communication with my parents, it was pretty jarring to watch it. And I would only assume that it had an effect on how I pursued relationships, because I lost relationships when I was younger because I didn't want to have sex. And it was for the sake of, I can't. Shout Flex Chef. Did you watch Akira last week?
I did not. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all good. I didn't watch your show either. So we're even Steven. But kids, it's a very jarring, but I reflect upon it positively, even though it's a very negative movie. Like it can be a tough watch. And so yeah, and so like that was very eye-opening. And so I stopped being naive about it and just understood that it can only happen if I do it. So don't do it. Straight up. And it worked out. That doesn't mean I didn't have sex at all. It just means that I was very careful and with specific people. So, but yeah, I don't know. I would prefer that you try to have it brought up outside of it being live streamed, like just for the sake of, she's already there. She's already way ahead of your expectation. And so shouldn't you play catch up? Or should you resort into what you don't know and use the fear of overcoming that awkwardness to create an even deeper relationship with your daughter that you didn't have an opportunity possibly without this happening?
I get you.
Because you can look at it from a perspective of, she's been doing it since this age, and then in a few years it escalates and you had an opportunity to nip it in the butt. If it becomes a problem, if it leads to, you know what I mean? If it becomes a gateway to something negative.
My biggest concern is giving her a complex. That's my biggest fear.
That's your fear, though.
Yeah, I know it's mine. It's something that I have to conquer.
So what's her fear? Let's look at it from, let's focus on her. Let's focus on her embarrassment of you finding it. Because she didn't tell you about it.
Right.
So she didn't feel comfortable telling you about it because she doesn't have that open line of communication with you about this, and she's underage, right?
Right.
But you've openly expressed that you don't feel that she should have shame attached to that. And so the fear that I hear you expressing is healthy. It sounds healthy because you're trying to do the right thing, but trying to do the right thing by not doing anything doesn't happen.
I get you.
So
I totally get you.
So all I'm saying is, don't be passive. Whatever your choice is, make sure you're doing it for her and you're working through your fear in the process, not you're centering your fear to approach her. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because your fear is warranted, bro. It's coming to me. It's approaching me. So.
Yeah, I never told my parents. I more of just was jizzing everywhere, and then started doing my own laundry.
Yes.
Yeah. So Forrest, because Forrest mommy, she said, I was masturbating since 5, didn't have sex till 19. And she said, but boys don't tell their parents really, right? Moms just find your sheets. Right. Yeah. Oh, I don't think we're going to have to worry about her being alone with the boys. That's a whole other conversation. It's not my business to get into at this moment in time.
I'm trying to think back.
I will.
There would. There's.
I
There would.
will.
Go ahead.
When Scarlett is old enough or wants to, I'll let her come on the show. I'll let her come on the show.
Awesome.
And I'll talk to her.
Awesome.
Yeah. You can be open about it being an awkward combo. That's true.
No, I would. I think it would be weird if you open that line of communication and it went really well.
Yeah.
I would be way more concerned if that happened than if there is a spectrum of awkwardness that happens, because
yeah,
man,
that's definitely creep status.
So,
I don't want to be.
So it could be worse. Could be worse. So they play beer pong at the festival, at the fair. They play pretend mini beer pong to win stuffed animals. So where's your level of alarm when it comes to that? Because of your background, because of your history.
My whole thing is because I am an addict and because I'm an alcoholic and because I really do enjoy fine white powders, it is my hope that my children know that and would take that into consideration, which I'm pretty sure she won't, because she has to live life on her own. That's who she is.
Yeah.
I get it, because that's who I was. But if things are occurring, I would rather they occur under my supervision. And I know this, is breaking the law, but if they're going to be partaking in dumb underage drunk experiences, I'd rather be able to be like, I got to watch that kid before he chokes on his own puke. I got to make sure, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, absolutely.
That's like, and is that going to happen? Probably not. But I know I can be a real cranky bastard, but I always try and preface to my stepkids who are always back and forth. I said, listen, I may be cranky, but you got to understand this is the safest place you'll ever be in.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can't talk to me about. There's nothing you can't, like, you may not like my answers or my responses to what you have to say, but you can always say it.
Yeah.
And, like, if you have any issue, you can always come to me with it. But, I don't know. I try and make this house as safe an environment for them to grow and be who they are as much as possible.
Shout out Forest Mommy and Flex Chef. Got the comment section on fire tonight. We have 83 comments so far. So
and we really do appreciate that, because
thank you guys so much for checking us out and partaking and adding to the conversation. This is the whole point. This is what we really want to do with this every week is get people in the same place at the same time and have these open conversations. Yeah, man, whatever.
We got to figure out we got to figure out when to get Forest Mommy actually on the show.
There's no figuring out. There's just scheduling, bro. Like,
I know
we've never like been tough about getting anybody to come on this show. So Forest Mommy has been super active. So if anything, she has warranted herself a spot with us on the show if she would like in the future. I know you've spoken about her before.
Yeah, she rules. No, hey, I'm glad. I'm actually glad you're hyper and you really love this topic. Thank you for being in the live chat. No, but she's great. She's one of my favorite people to follow on Twitter.
That's awesome.
Straight up, whichever account that may be at the time.
Yeah, so boys typically traditionally don't have the talk. Um and we are of the generation that is breaking generational curses. And
Mm-hmm.
the lack of comfort that we all feel, I think, talking about this, I think hints at the fact that we should talk about it more. You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
the old trope. You don't talk about politics at the dinner table. It's like, nah, have those conversations. Like, understand, get to know, because the fear, the shame, all of the things that we worry about so much, 85% of that doesn't happen. 85% of that doesn't happen, according to research. And of the things that actually do happen, we're able to overcome 92% of those things. And that 8% isn't death. It's just, oops, that bad thing did happen. So I don't see much negativity coming out from having the conversation. I see more negativity in sweeping it under the rug
I get you.
because there's less to
Makes sense.
gain because you have less information. And you always make worse decisions with less information. It's tried and true. So, but if anything, just to get her mindset, because if she's willing to go this hard on her school uniform, how do you think she's going to defend her self pleasure and her privacy?
Right.
So, not talking about. So, would you just not talk about her school uniform? Would you just let it happen and not punish her? Well, you went through the motions to have that conversation with her now to change that behavior. So you're not necessarily trying to address or change the behavior. You're just trying to understand why it's happening at the age it is, because it didn't happen for you that way. Both of your experiences are different, you and Brit's. So
Mm-hmm.
just showing her that there's a spectrum allows her to understand one way isn't right and everything else is wrong. If she starts at 2 from the beginning, I think she's got a good shot. I grew up Catholic. It was one way or the highway as an adolescent. And then I
Yeah.
ran into the woman who became my wife, and I thought, oh man, I can't show her that I love her the way she wants to show me because we're not married. We can't live together because we're not married. You want me to live with her after we get married? So things stopped lining up, and it turned into a make or break situation, and I broke camp. And it didn't line up with my views. So, but I found a woman who enjoyed my company, and we got together early on, and we got married at 21, 22, 23, 2007. I was 24 years old. So we didn't have our first kid until we were 33. So we had time. And there was some times that a vasectomy would have came into play and would have been appreciated. But like, yeah, the idea that it feels weird to have conversations about vasectomies or about puberty and self pleasure, like that feels adolescent to me. To not have that conversation, like, you know how you look up when you're a teenager, oh, I can't wait till I can go out, till I can drink, till I can do these adult things. Now we're adults pushing back on having adult conversations. Like, I'm not about that. New year,
I get you.
2023. Let's elevate that. Let's elevate that conversation, that way of thinking, so that way we don't resort to our parents, because
Right.
we have all
And I
shared
think
that
us.
our experience is not good.
Yeah, and I really think that us as parents need to be more, uh, I guess, probably proactive rather than reactive.
And our parents didn't
That way
have
they're not.
social media, bro.
Yeah, and that way, well, see, because I'd rather my kids learn things from me than how,
TikTok.
because oh, well, see, I grew up in the era where like you found porn in the woods, like like random old porn magazines in the woods, and then the internet was also brand new. Like that's how I figured out a lot of shit. Like
I found a flash
no, I'd
disc
rather.
that I know has porn on it, but it's so old. I don't have anything that I could look it up.
Is it on like WinRAR or?
It's not a floppy disk. It's the ones that they made solid after that could carry like
Hell yeah!
8 MB worth of information. I know that it's like
Are you talking about like? Are you talking about the OG floppies that are,
the next the
or like
upgrade.
the
No. It's
yeah the ones that are called the soft discs, but they're hard, right?
yes,
Because
yes.
the hard discs were the big ones that were floppy, and the soft discs were, man.
Yeah. So and all of those are still frame pictures that I had to load during the AOL days. It started like this. You open that file and it went boop, boop, boop,
Boop, boop, boop.
and a little bit more of the picture would open, and you had to wait for that motherfucker to load before you even looked at it before you got aroused, bro. And now
Getting excited before seeing the exciting.
I take the parental controls off my daughter's device, and it's on. It's like that. So with
Yeah.
that immediate level of access, to me, treading lightly sounds problematic. It sounds outdated. It sounds
Yeah.
like it worked in a simpler time, and we are not in simple times. And as Forrest Mommy reiterated, the fact that we're raising kids in this climate, come on, man. The algorithm
Got
is
it, right.
stronger than our willpower
You got
to watch over our kids and what they do. So I'm gonna fight it. I'm gonna fight it organically, and have those conversations and be open. Because otherwise, once they get in the matrix, man, it's tough to get them out. So,
It's true.
and with the level of sexuality on TikTok, on these platforms, in music videos, in in pop culture, just in general, like my daughters are singing Nicki Minaj's song every time it comes on the radio. I listened to that thing, the explicit version, all the way through today, and I was like, "Yo, my wife and I might enjoy this if we were out in an adult setting. But when my kids are strapped into their car seats, I don't want them spelling freak. I don't want them to, and I have no control over that. It's on public radio, so it's like I can't block them from that, and so I have to approach it from the perspective of they're going to get it anyway. I just have to put it in the right context. So,
Kind of like playing slob on my knob with all the kids on the dance floor at a wedding.
bro, imagine hearing "Slob on My Knob" on the radio right now.
And people are like, okay.
It wouldn't be surprising. It would not be surprising.
Oh.
But then imagine hearing "Slob on My Knob" on mainstream radio every hour on the hour, like Ariana Grande and fucking Sam Smith, bro. Imagine that. Imagine if "Back That Ass Up." Or hold on, I'm sorry. Do you know the song "Tip Drill" by Nelly?
Yes.
Oof. The credit card swipe.
Well, we can get into some ludicrous pussy popping on a handstand.
That's how me and my wife sealed the deal. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I wish I was joking. Spring break. That song came on. Pop, 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 pop. She got up on her hands, and I was appreciative.
She's the one.
Dude, no, but like no, the first time that we really the first time we really hung out and were like feeling each other, she gave me a lap dance to In Those Jeans by Genuine. Yes. My wife's got a tail on her, so it was appreciated as well. And but yeah, man, that's another dynamic. So the dynamic you're talking about with your parents and how they were openly, and it rubbed you the wrong way. The fact that my girls find it cute or whatever, I'm gonna try and hold on to that shit as long as I can, man. Because that time frame apparently happens pretty soon. So that's one thing that we didn't touch on with all of this is
Yeah.
the arousal rate. Because as far as I understand, guys get aroused all the time when they're grown up.
Yes.
I understand it happens to women as well. I would like to be able to A and B that. Who's
That's a whole
hornier?
other data collection point.
Yeah, whole nother. Who's hornier? Because the amount, like what Flex Chef is referring to, like the unnecessary erections you would get in school.
Oh man, those
Like,
were the
like just
worst.
being in class
Call
and
it.
then rock hard with no control.
Yeah, those were called NARBs. Is an acronym. No apparent reason boner.
Marky Mark and the Narbs.
So speaking of, so Brittany was watching 40-Year-Old Virgin before I came in here.
Yes.
And it was at the scene where he wakes up with his morning wood and walking.
Mm.
She goes, "Does that happen every day?" I said, "It used to."
Man.
I'm getting old. Testosterone levels dropping.
Well, it's funny because we're talking at length about masturbation at a young age, like at an old age or older, at a grown age. It's better than melatonin. That plus cannabis, bro, lights out. So it's self-care at this point. And not as an alternative, not as a replacement, as a sedative. Straight up. So, yeah, girls don't have boners.
Thank you to the the lady in the live chat. Yeah, girls
Forrest
don't get
Mommy.
boners. Thanks.
That's the clinical definition. Girls don't have boners. Oh. No narbs for the ladies, huh? And you guys have a tough go.
Yeah. Oh man, that's another thing. It's like, can you?
Oh,
Hey, listen, I've seen just what you talk about you and Mr. FM. I'm not touching that. I just know I'm happy for you both and your and the way you live your life. All right. Oh man, yeah. I need to let these dogs inside before they piss my neighbor off.
oh man, the neighbor.
Yo, okay, all right. Hey, do you want a neighbor update?
Absolutely.
Since we did talk about that,
Yeah.
so he has been avoiding me like
Does he watch the show?
I'm the bad guy here.
Oh.
But no. So, but his wife has come over. Oh, let me see the baby. Oh my God, he's so precious, just like your other girls. She gave me a big old hug, gave Brittany a kiss, and oh, thank you. Oh my goodness, congratulations, you guys. Oh wow, and then she heard Brittany out in the garage working out. She said, "I heard you out here with your music. I brought you some snacks."
Hell
Like
yeah.
I said, she's a fucking delight. But
Oh
yeah, dude,
man.
hey, yeah, that dude knows, like, just because he just, and then she comes over coherent, happy. Yeah, she's dying my ass. We're all dying, dude. Like I don't.
Right. Oh man. Oh,
Using his
boy.
wife as a scapegoat. That's all he was doing, and she's the sweetest lady. Anyway, that's all I got for this evening.
That was well done. Festivus Part 7. I feel like this show gets more and more cantankerous by the week.
We're gonna have to do a feats of strength episode.
Hey man, as long as we have
I'll set.
as long as we have people on here like Flex and Forrest Mommy, I think we'll be just fine.
I agree. Thank you guys so much for being active participants in the conversation that contributed, and I love you both. So take that.
Likewise.
Good night, everybody.
Bye. Warhorse, come on, my guy. Wake up.
Come on, Warhorse.
Wake up, Warhorse. I know you're there.
Hey, it's Warhorse. Do you want your workouts to look like this? Or do you want your workouts to slay? When Warhorse picks his pre-workout, he wants it to slay. If you want second place, go with somebody else. If you want to be a champion, go with Royalty Nutrition.
God damn, son.